Well, good afternoon, YouTube. It's 3:24 Tuesday, August 20th. A couple days or sometime before Dad's birthday, oddly enough. But hi, I am. In case you need proof of I am who I say I am, and yes, my driver's license is valid. But I'm Daniel F. Byfield Jr., aka one of the cursed ones. This video is for Nellie Johnson, attorney or guardian or whatever you are. Um, it seems like I should just try this method of communication instead of actually trying to talk to you, or maybe I should like come visit you at your office or something. I don't know, but a lot of us feel that the issue with my dad is not going the way that it needs to go, and a lot of stuff is kind of pissing people off. So I'm going to try to address this as well as I can, as kindly as I can. I apologize in advance for anything that may seem rude or mean. I apologize for any potential language that you may hear from me. Pretty much, I give it to people straight. I tell you exactly what's going on, exactly how things are, how they appear, whatever, and I make sure that I'm fully understood. I don't tend to beat around the bush. So first things first, it's been brought to my attention that not only myself and my girlfriend and my aunt and my dad's side of the family, they all believe that there should be some sort of accounting, some sort of bookkeeping or something, a record that shows what my dad's money is being spent on and why. We would like this information. I would like this information. I'm tired of being like this person who's like this middleman person, so I guess I need to make my stance clear in the beginning. Um, my aunt is 72. She has medical issues. I mean, she's a great person to want to put in charge of things if you feel that you need to do that, but it's kind of awkward given the fact that I don't know why people are still wanting to stand in my way when it comes to my father. Like, for instance, when things happen with my father, such as what my mom has done recently, the whole her being banned from visiting my father, etc., etc., this stuff's not told to me, or it's not told to me first. I'm here. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. If you need my address, it's in the email. Um, I'm here. I'm mobile. I'm sane-minded enough, regardless of what you think of my parents. We'll get to that eventually, but I'm sane. I'm mobile. I know the situation. I know about my mom. Know my mom's past. I know pretty much everything. So it's kind of silly that I'm not the one who's being looked upon to try to help correct these things and figure stuff out. Um, my dad. Oh boy. My dad seems to have just like given up, or it's just like he's not the same person he was. He used to have so much fight in him where he used to always say, she will never get my money, she will never get my money, I'm not going to let her take my money because that's the only thing she wants. And so he knew that. It's like he's given up, because we went to visit him, and we'll get to that too. But, it's just, we feel like he deserves better. It's like, okay, he worked hard, and I went to the Willow, Indian Hills, Willow, whatever you want to call this place. We had difficulty actually finding the place because nobody just said it. You go down the street and you make a left. It's right there. We thought it was the Indian Hills with the big old sign that says senior citizen living 55 plus, whatever. So we were trying to get in that building. It just dawned on us as we're leaving. I looked down the street. I'm like, wait, is that it? Because I remember hearing, and it's been changed. I'm like, yeah, that's probably it. So we finally get to see him. We go in here. We talk to his, I guess that's his roommate or the person he lives with, the guy that I guess my mom was talking about. She said something. She mentioned this guy. I'm like, okay. So he was pretty much giving us the rundown of how things go in there and how they pretty much they aren't allowed to they don't really get to do anything. I mean they have a car there, but they don't have like a lot of activities planned for them. So it's pretty much like it's like God's waiting room is what we generally describe it as. I have video of me there with Dad. Sherry was asking him questions, recording stuff because we want actual proof that these things were said. Because it's just like, okay, I I mean, I guess he's happy there. Excuse me if when you see me smoke, but I guess he's happy there. But it's just like he still deserves better. I feel like for $1,500 a month, it's like he should have a house. I mean, if you're paying for a house note, $1,500 a month, even that's kind of steep. And it's just like my father deserves better. My parents, excuse me, my parents have kind of neglected to do things throughout life. I don't know what the reasoning for this is, but it's just how things have gone. My dad, he bought the house, he bought a car, and these things pretty much started to dwindle. The car was gone before we moved out of the house when I was 4. I'm 30, so that was what, 26 years ago? When we moved out of the house, that car was gone. So he's never really had a car. He's always depended on the bus. But as you can see from his work history, he's always made a decent amount of money. Um, he did what he could with the house, but then when it went to hell, he tried to fix it all himself, and that was that, I guess. He never really sought out to get another car. My mom claims to have hit the lottery for $188,000. If you don't believe me, ask anyone who knows her. You can ask my brother. Her other son, the one that's never seen or heard of or talked to, he lives with me. You guys can easily, we can all just get together and talk about family stuff, because it's just like we all know what Rosalind's capable of. It's just that you're just not coming into the picture and you're figuring it out. And it's just like, okay, why would you give her such access to him? And the fact of the matter is she's barred from going to visit him where he lives now due to what she was twisting his arm or something like that. How come I was not told of this? It's just like, okay, what, am I like irrelevant to you guys? I mean, just because I'm quiet and I'm away from the situation, I don't say anything doesn't mean anything. I mean, I pick and choose my battles. The reason I didn't go visit him a lot in the beginning is because I didn't want to deal with Rosalind. I want nothing to do with Rosalind. Rosalind has ruined so many lives, done so much to hurt people. She's still hurt. The things that she's done are still hurting people. I.e., I thought I had till October to finish my math class or get a passing grade. They said they're going to give me an F, and if I can complete the work by September 20th, then I'll get my correct grade and I'll be able to move forward. Otherwise, I have to take the entire math set over again, which means I have to pay 200 some odd dollars for another dumb book. Excuse me while I take this shoe off because it hurt my foot. And I have to pay another, what, $400 or $500 for this blasted class. These classes aren't free. And if things keep going the way they're going, when my dad finally does die, I won't have any inheritance to cover school, which was the original intention. So, I mean, not only am I going to be screwed in the long part once again, it's just everything seems to be that everyone wants to let my mom control stuff and win. And it's like, do you not see that my mom was a person who she was in court talking about how he was her beloved whoever for 30-some years. But then in the same sense, you hear that she's now barred or banned or prohibited from, I can't speak because yeah, I can't really pronounce certain words, but she's prohibited from going to visit him due to the fact that she put her hands on him. Now, given the fact that I, being the person who confirmed everything that the court said that they know, was all me. Because, okay, you people barely got in the house. Got in the house, what, twice? I lived there for the majority of the time. Hell, I'm the one who moved her in there. If it wasn't for me, she'd be homeless because people broke into the old apartment which we lived in, which was 513 East 117th Street, upstairs, apartment 3. People broke into the downstairs and they started to steal metal piping, anything metal, anything that they feel like could take to the scrapyard and sell for money. People were breaking and stealing. So people finally decided to come into that building, and they didn't realize that there was still one set of tenants that still lived there. People downstairs from the bottom moved out, other bottom moved out, up top moved out, and we were the last ones on the left, top left. So my mom decides to do something devious. where she gets in contact with whoever owns the building, and they come up with this agreement that she would babysit the building for $1,000 check. Now she put us both in physical jeopardy just by doing this because she didn't tell me. I had no clue of this. So um, one morning, her birthday, I think it was like 2000, yeah, it was like 2010, I believe. Her birthday, 2010. It's like 9 something in the morning. We're awoken to the power being shut off. Because I guess whoever is about to start trying to steal stuff, when you pull out pipes and stuff, if the water and electric's on, you can really get yourself hurt. So they turn the electric off so they could like steal piping without like getting soaked. They turn the water off and the electric off. So I was waking to the electric being turned off, or my fan just stopped running because this was before we had air conditioning. So I come out my room. She's standing in the hallway. She's like, "I paid the electric bill." I'm like, okay. So I just stand there and I hear her walking downstairs with Bunders. And we both, she looks at me and I look at her, and we both know that nobody lives in the building except for us. So if there's somebody downstairs, it's somebody's intruder, and this person can have a weapon, and it's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do? My first instinct is it's either me or them, and I'm not trying to be dead over some simple ass metal scraps they're trying to get. So I'm like, oh shit. So I go into my room, and I immediately get dressed and I come out of my room. They immediately try and come through the back door. Lo and behold, Mom has her plethora of boxes still about high as this door back here, as you see me sitting in front of. She has boxes in front of the back door, so they can't get through the back door. So I'm ready to go. It's go time because I feel threatened because I don't know who this person is. I don't know what their intention is. I don't know what they want. They aren't saying anything. They could have a gun, etc., etc. So my brain's telling me it's go time. It's fight or flight. It's either you or them, and I'm definitely not the one who wants to end up dead. Long story short, I'm ready to go. I'm waiting for them to get through the back door. They can't get through the back door, so they finally decide to try and break out and try and abort their plan. I'm immediately downstairs. I come flying through the apartment, down the stairs. I'm thinking they're going to come over the back gate, and there's going to be a confrontation because I'm ready for it. Because Mom eventually calls the police, but the police take 45 minutes to get there. Whoever was doing it was long gone by the time the police got there. So the police just got there, they walked around, did their usual nonsense, and really didn't do anything. Really didn't seem to care. But, lo and behold, after all this happens, I'm told that the reason that we weren't moved out, or she wasn't trying so desperately to get moved out, was because she didn't even tell me. I figured it out because they sent her a check, and she was constantly trying to fight them to get this check and complaining and stuff. Because the first place I moved her into, I found a place on Craigslist. It wasn't all that great. I moved her into another place. I moved her into that place on Craigslist. They said it was newly renovated. They were installing everything. Moved her in. They didn't have any pipes, so there was no running water, all other stuff. So she was there for about a month. I feel completely responsible for that. So then I'm like, okay, I can't let her stay here because I could have just left. I was gonna end up going to California and living with a friend, and you wouldn't know me right now. None of this would be taking place in my aspect. There would be no me involvement because I wouldn't live here. But anyway, I'm still me never learning from the mistakes and being used by Gerald Roslin. I'm like, okay, I can't humanly just sit by and go, just leave her in there. So it's like, okay. So I get back on Craigslist. I finally find a decent house, a place that she's living now. And we finally get it to where the guy will let her rent it, because at first the guy did not want to let her rent it, and she declined 2 really nice places on the west side because she doesn't like the west side. It's like, are you kidding me? But yeah, her reasoning is because she doesn't know the buses for the west side because she has no ambition to get a car, she has no ambition to get a driver's license or anything like that. It's like she's just a sit-in-the-house person. She ruins lives and sits in the house and gossips and goes out of town randomly and gives random guys money. I'm not sure if any of you wonderful people know about this Barry Fletcher guy that she's been dating on and off for years, who she claims to have once been engaged to and all this other wonderful stuff, and he cheated on her, and then she gave him a total amount of $7,800 and some odd dollars, and all this other stuff that she's never going to get back. She always tries to get me to cuss this guy out when I used to live there. She used to always try to give me her phone, like, make him stop calling me, tell him to leave me alone, tell him to, it's like, I'm like, I don't want to be involved. When my mom does her nonsense, I want no part of it. Like when she's doing what she's doing to Dad, I want to know part of it. When she decided to try to move Dad in there, I wanted to know part of it because I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. It's like you're gonna move him up there. You're gonna move him a floor above you. When if it's that serious and you want him to live here that bad, you can move him in my room. I can move upstairs. Then you both can be down here and you can take care of him, do whatever needs to be done. You guys can talk, laugh, have as much fun as you want. Because me, honestly, I don't want to be anywhere close to my mom. My mom's a horrible person to live with. We have video. We have lots of video proof. We have proof of her mistreating him. We have proof of her yelling at him. We have proof of her mentally just downright being disgusting. We have proof of her telling me I should go get guardianship. We have proof of her telling me that I should take him to his sister. All this wonderful stuff. Now we have some problems. Seeing as my dad doesn't get to go anywhere for the most part, I mean, for the most part, they may go on trips, but he's not. It's not like, okay, let's just put this shit straight. Excuse my language, but it's not like he's free to just do whatever he wants. It's not like he can go and hop on the bus and go here, go there. It's like if you want to go to a baseball game, you can't. You want to grab a quick beer, you can't. You want to go to the park or do something, you can't. It's like that place. It's like he's just in there waiting to die, and it's like. I don't feel right. It's just like he has me, he has Sherry, he has Carmen's side of the family. We all say, okay, if we can get him away from Rosalind, then we can do this. Because Rosalind has the debit cards, the Social Security cards, the immunization papers, everything. She has everything in her house, in that room, on the wall. But you wouldn't know that because you've never been around her for a long period of time. I used to live with her. I know where she kept his stuff. The only thing is, I mean, it's like no one wants to believe me. Everyone wants to believe in Rosalind's nonsense. Where I'm the bad person because I go to school full time. You see how Rosalind treats people. Would you want to be there a lot? Would you want to be around her? Would you want to have to constantly deal with her trying to use you, mentally abuse you, call you names, this, that, this, that, this, that? Would you want to be around that, or would you find something else to put your time into that's productive that will get you somewhere in life? I thought to myself, if I go to school and something bad happens, at least I have education to fall back on. Or if I go to school and I do this and I actually can make it work, I can submit myself a position here to do stuff for myself. I don't want to rely on my mom. I don't want to rely on my dad. My fault is I'm human, or at least I used to feel human, where I would feel sorry for my mom. I used to live in Florida. Why I came back? Oh, Lord. Because I believed in her. She was like, your brother's been shot. He's in the hospital. He might not make it. She was always calling me, crying about this, crying about that. Then when he finally got better, your brother wants nothing to do with me, blah, 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 blah. When it was technically her fault, he got to his unfortunate incident in the beginning. Because every time he's been injured, it's because he decided to go or decided to come and do something for her. Like when he decided to walk up the hill to get her from where Dad's house is at 11205 Mount Carmel, because it's not a very nice place to live. It's actually pretty dangerous over there. But when he walked up the hill to get her, he got robbed for going to get her. He got robbed and pistol whipped and put in the hospital for going to get her. Now, she wouldn't have been over there, which she knew she shouldn't have been over there, because they've always had this domestic violence issue where one person's trying to hit the other. Whether it's him or her, nobody cares. They always had this issue. That was another reason why I'm like, why would you move him in here? When the majority of my life, I've known nothing but you two throwing fists at one another. It's like, have you both changed? No. My mom's still the same worthless person that lies on everybody and doesn't really do anything. So it's like, you haven't changed, and I guess he has changed because he's not the same person he was, where he's more timid and soft, where he used to be a real hard ass. Now he's timid and soft and says yes to everything. It's like, it's kind of weird, but it's like, all right, I guess that's him now. But it's just like, okay, you guys have both been known for hitting on one another your entire time since I've been around. So why would you move him in here if it's just gonna be you guys arguing and back and forth again? At first, it wasn't all that bad. When she first moved him in, first she started like she just started bringing him over. Like every other week, he'd like spend the weekend and she'd take him home and she'd take him back home and he'd talk about how he didn't want to stay and how he wanted to be with her, blah 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 blah. So she used that to her advantage. It's like she courted him in. She's like, oh yeah, look how nice it is over here in my house. Look how nice it is. Oh yes, it's so nice. It's so nice. If you do this for me, yes, it's so nice. You can be hearing all this, and then all that went away. It went from nice, her going taking him his food upstairs, cooking for him upstairs, stuff like that. It went from nice to less nice, where he was sometimes she would do it, sometimes he'd come downstairs, and it went from not so nice, and now he was always forced to come downstairs, and she stopped putting stuff upstairs for missed reasons. Like she said, he would go in the refrigerator and try and eat raw meat. It's like, why didn't you just move him down here again? Did you have a reason why you don't want him in here? Because I mean, it's like technically, it's like she was always following him around. He was always down there, up there. She was always complaining about him. So it's like, why don't you just move him down here? At least then, if you guys are complaining, I'm up there. I can do my schoolwork in peace. My thing was, I wanted all this Guardian stuff to wait until after I was done because I really wanted to get through this math class without it having to cost me any more money. But nobody wanted to hear me. It's just like I got the entire family thing dropped in my lap, December 2012, and it's just been dropped in my lap ever since, where it's been like, aha, you have Aunt Carmen who wants to know who you are, what you look like, and all this other wonderful stuff. And I'm like, I've been around for 29 years and nobody's given a rat's behind about me and how I'm doing, so why do people care now? Oh, it's because my father's at the end of his life. But it's just like nobody really cared. I mean, I hear what Carmen says now, where she says Dad really wouldn't say much. He would, and they have a point to the fact that pretty much Mom hid from Dad the majority of my childhood. He would, he found us like once or twice, and she would have her boyfriend at the time lie and say that we didn't live there, and then he had the wrong address, and then she would have us all like hide in one room until he was gone. This happened twice, and every time it happened, we moved. So yeah, I mean, all this stuff can be corroborated by my brother, providing he remembers it. But he was there for all of it, for the most part. All the childhood experiences, when Mom attacked me with the broken glass, well, he wasn't there for that. He was technically kicked out because I was 13, 14. I'd have made him 16, 17. Yeah, he'd already been kicked out. But he was there for the majority of it. He was actually at the court hearing. He was actually at some of the court hearings when I had to go to court when she attacked me with the glass bottle. I was forced to defend myself. Again, fight or flight. It's either me or her, and she's coming in with a glass bottle. And the thing of the matter is, when it was all said and done, she didn't have a mark on him, because the only thing I did was I had a metal pole and I did like this, and I just pretty much prevented her from coming at me. I'm like, yeah, if you come at me with that glass bottle, I'm gonna be forced to use this on you. And she pretty much understood that you're not gonna come at me with that, because if it's either me and you have a short little bottle. I have a very long metal staff. That it was something that went across the back door, like to prevent unauthorized entry, kind of like that stick she has on the front door now, but it was a bit longer. Something like that. But if you can go back into my records and look into that, you can see that it's nothing. They continued the case, and I guess they finally started to realize she was a bad parent, because she has a lot of back history with social services regarding some sort of mental issues, and my brother's health, because he was malnourished and other stuff when he was a kid, and seeing as she's the one who claims to adopt him, even though it's been said that she's actually his biological mother, that it was all her fault. So yeah. So I guess that's enough about the backstory. Let me look. I mean, I have on my notepad where I wanted to address my father's plan. It's just like, firstly, I'm just going to be full on honest. So I need you to bear with me. I do not need you to like think that I'm being this mean, hostile, vindictive, or evil person, because I'm not. I feel like I just want to say what I need to say about the entire situation and be understood. Well, it's my point of view. I mean, I get that you may not agree with me on specific things, especially how to handle Rosalind and why I was not asked about it. Because if you would have just called me when you were there and you were in the house, and if you had like the police with you, I would have just directed, I would have just told you, this is where she keeps stuff. Have the police officer escort you in this room. Look here. You will find XYZ on the wall. You will find in this XYZ, you will find bank cards and probably some random bus fares. She does the same thing, and she has the same pattern. All the stuff's on the wall across from the TV. And if you don't believe me, you can ask my brother. Even he remembers it from how she was. But anyway, I need to say what I need to say. So firstly, I'm tired of people standing in my way. I mean, I get that you're court appointed and all that other wonderful stuff, but it's like, are you going to take him to the park? Are you going to buy him clothes? Are you going to buy him shoes? Are you going to replace the things that mom has taken? Are you going to give him any sort of family time? Are you going to make sure that his last spent days are comfortable and plush, or are you going to just throw him away in some sort of home? Maybe my brother says that I just told him about the place. I just told him from me to him how I felt about the place from my time getting there until my time leaving. It's like he deserves better for $1,450 a month or how much ever, because they say once he's there for 90 days, his check or his pension or whatever will get transferred over to the hospital, and he will get a $40 or $50 a month allowance, and he's supposed to buy stuff with. And it's like, so he's pretty much paying $1,450 for what? He doesn't have a car. Okay, I guess you guys can bring him his medicine and stuff like that, but it's like all this stuff we could be doing for him. The original plan was to get him an apartment or house. I had some nice stuff picked out in North Olmsted that had the senior care thingy right there, and then me and him could have gotten an apartment. So I'd have been there with him, like whenever I'm not doing stuff. And if I'm busy or I needed to go do something, I had a test I needed to do, anything school related, he could always go to the care center. It was like right there. They had like all of it was elderly accessible. It wouldn't have been no he's upstairs, he can't get around, he can't do this, he can't do that. I would have been there with him. It wouldn't have just been me. Sherry could have always popped in. Carmen could have easily came, and she could have got a room, and she could have actually. We could have got a big enough place where she could have actually lived there too. I was looking into that, but it just started to seem like once the courts figured out that, hey, he worked some sort of federal job, because blah, 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 and he has some sort of pension, and his mom, Rosalind Stewart, claims this, that, we're going to listen to her, blah, 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 and that's when stuff started to seem like it was going downhill. That's where I get the whole people are standing in my way. Let's be honest, everything that you've done, aside from his taxes, I could have done mindlessly. I could have corrected the whole PERS, federal beneficiary stuff. That looked really easy. I looked into it myself. I could have filed for his Social Security and all that other stuff. The only reason I couldn't do anything for him, and the reason why we decided to contact Adult Protective Services, is because Mom has everything. All of his information Mom has. Carmen won't give me his information, or it's not like I really asked her for, hey, can you give me my dad's Social Security number, birthday? I've never asked. I figure I'm his son. People know who I am. Why not just give it to me when you feel it's necessary, if you feel it's necessary? If you want me in charge of all this stuff, XYZ. There's a briefcase that my dad left to Carmen. If my mom's such a trustworthy person, such a great person, and we're so happily together, why didn't he leave it with her? Why was there no will or anything like that written out until just last year or whenever? And why did she always only appoint herself? Because she's very vindictive and mean. When she understands that she cannot control you or persuade you to do what she wants, then she throws you under the bus. Carmen learned this when Carmen sent my mom the immunization paper that she had, or the copy of it, or whatever it is she had. My mom used to be really nice to Carmen until Carmen finally UPS'd or federal mailed this document over. Once my mom got this document over and she got Dad's retirement fully signed up and she got her name on it, she became the worst person you could ever imagine. She started calling Carmen name, harassing her, calling family members over there, harassing them, and it's just like, really? And it's like, it's said now that if she gets what she wants, all the money's going to her, and there's no clue of who the money's going to. It should all go to me because I'm the one who has to correct this mess, who is going to correct this mess. I share the same name as him. I get all sorts of calls about credit cards and stuff like that, which I can't have a credit card. I know my credit is very poor. So when I know when they call me and they say, Daniel Byfield Sr., I'm like, like I'm not my father just yet. You might want to wait on that. So yeah. I get all sorts of mail from my father in my post office box. I've always gotten my father's stuff. People have always mistaken me for my father because neither of us typically use a junior or senior thing. It's how I honor him in the fact, like, when I graduate from college, I didn't use Daniel Byfield Jr. In my graduation and all that stuff, when I get my diploma and all that stuff, it would just say Daniel F. Byfield. It's like, okay, he created me, he put me here for a reason, so I have his name for a reason, even though a lot of the times when I was younger, I really wanted to pay to have my name changed. But it's like, okay. And if I would have had my name changed, it probably would have been more difficult to deal with all of this. So, me putting it straight, people are standing in my way. I feel like the first person that should be contacted about anything involving my father is me. I'm his son. I've been here. I know all the history. I have no negative intentions. Even though my father was not there, I don't feel negatively towards him about it because I fully understand why he wasn't there. God, I asked him one question that everyone should ask. Would you want to be around Rosalind back then? I would, and I was her child. I feel like if we need to get him into a decent place he can actually afford and let him live comfortably, I should be I should have some role, I should have some high role in that, seeing as Carmen has to go get surgery for her legs because when she came down here to come to the court case, whatever happened to her when she was on the bus, where she's getting old and she's having vein issues in her legs. I feel bad because I was the one who pretty much told her that she really needed to come down here. I pretty much begged her to come because I felt like if she came, maybe that would get you guys seated. It's not just me who's going to be there making sure that my dad's okay, that his finances and everything's taken care of. I mean, my initial plan was to have everyone involved from the family. Now, if mom could act like a normal person, go get some counseling or something, which I have in my plan, and if you want me to send you the plan, I can do that. If you want me to send you screenshots of the plan to show the original creation date, gotta love Mac, I can do that too. It's just that the plan was to have everyone involved and make sure that he was happy, he felt loved, he got his medication, that he just had a peace of mind to know that he's not going to die in a home away from everybody, but he's eventually when he goes, he's going to be around everyone. It's going to be happy and pleasant and as pain less as possible. Now, if mom wanted to be a part of that, she wanted to go get some counseling and work on her mental issues and her issues towards him and everyone else. If she would have done that, I would have been more than happy to say, okay, she can reassert herself in his life, because I don't feel like it would be right of me to keep him from her in that sense. But as you can see, it's escalated. Now it's just like, okay, she showed who she is. She doesn't really care. Let's get him into a nice place, get him a car, get him an actual TV. His TV should be about the same size as mine. It's bigger. Not that little thing that's barely as big as my Mac screen, really. It's just like when I look down and we're supposed to go take him to the park next weekend. My girlfriend and I were arranging a sort of a family outing or family time. It's just like to give him some sort of peace of mind and knows that at least somebody really gives a shit. Because when I see that you, his guardian, you're supposed to pretty much be him. You're supposed to do everything that he does. You're going to end up reaching into his pocket because it says that you've been approved for court fees or attorney's fees in the amount of $3,000 some odd dollars, and it's like everything you did I could have done. I mean, I probably would have had a little struggling with his taxes, but if I went to a professional, it wouldn't have cost me $3,000. So it's just like, in my plan, I feel is better than yours. I would have got him an apartment or a house, fully elderly accessible, first floor. I'm not stupid like my mom and thinks, oh, I'm going to shove him upstairs. I'd have put him on the first floor. I'd have made it so that me and him, our rooms would have been technically not too far apart. So that if he needed anything, I would have been able to always keep an eye on him. And I'd have made sure that, like, if I felt the need, I could have got an easy and cheap nurse's aide or home healthcare assistant. I was looking into that too. They aren't too expensive if you actually pay attention to it. And some of it's actually covered by Medicare, seeing as all this other wonderful stuff. And I feel like his Social Security needs to be fully taken into the light. Someone needs to look into it because he didn't just work RTA when he started to work. He worked at some sort of bank. He was a security officer for something. I mean, even if it's a very small amount of Social Security, he should still get it. Somebody should look into all this. And I feel like it's my job, but nobody wants to give me his information and actually let me do what a son or what a grateful child does. I mean, my parents didn't really do much for me, but I can still say, hey, I'm still here. I still care. I still love you guys. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring the family together. But it's just like, okay, I got people in my way. I feel like for $14.50 a month, $1,500 a month, my plan would have worked out just fine because my monthly budget that I projected was 1440.75, and that was with like I see car payment, insurance, rent, electric, and utilities because one of the places had utilities included. We had the groceries and all that other stuff figured out and all the other wonderful stuff and how much I would contribute, how much Sherry would contribute if she ever like lived there with me because we were thinking about the whole let's just be a couple and do all this wonderful stuff. So yeah, I mean I have all this stuff in my plan and it's just like why is it a bad thing that I wanted to get a car? Because now I need a car even more. If I'm supposed to take him places and do stuff with him and just help him be a normal person and live out his life comfortably and peacefully, why is it a bad thing? Mom used to always say, he wants to do this and he wants to do that. But I was like, okay, maybe if you guys would have got a car, I could have taken him to do this or do that. She used to say that he wanted me to go to the store and get him a beer from the store. And my thing was, if he would have asked, I would have did it. Now, if he would have asked himself, the thing is, when you make Rosa do anything, it makes it seem so awful and just like, ugh, I don't want to do it because it's her asking. And it's just like, she used to always make it seem like I was out for his money. I had much. She even said in the courtroom in front of people, I had $3,000 in my account and I was just trying to get his money. And then even at the end, the final hearing, she was like, fine, you can give my son the money, just leave his father with me. Because my mom always had some ulterior motive and plan. She's like, okay, you can give him the 7,000, whatever money was there. You can give him that because I had ultimately planned as long as she had him there, she would have control of his retirement because nobody would be able to actually get him coherent enough to say, no, I don't want this. That's the problem. It's like I guess he's like just giving up to where he's like, I don't want to fight anymore. I just want to be happy and live. And he used to always say stuff about leaving stuff here and going to Jamaica and doing this and doing that. And it's like, if he wants to go out of town right now, who's going to take him? Are you going to take him? No? You expect them to take him? That means they would have to literally come from New York on the bus because for some godforsaken reason, black folks don't like to drive. But they would have to come from New York on the bus or plane. Well, I know a couple of them have issues with planes, so they'd probably be on the bus to come here to get him. Then they have to go back on the bus when he can travel perfectly fine, I believe, because he's like me. We can sleep through almost anything. So it's like, okay, if he needs to travel, I can just put him in a car with me, with my girlfriend, load it up before we need to go. We can go to New York on a road trip. He seems really excited to actually get out and do stuff. So it's like my ultimate goal of car when I was in that house wasn't such a bad thing because the thing was I wasn't asking my mom for anything. I didn't expect anything from my mom. I know my mom was trying to lie and coerce me into. She was going to take money out of his account, give it to me, make it seem like it was a bank loan, put some interest on it, and have me pay it back to her. She used to always tell me she wanted me to sign promissory notes. I have that on video too, I believe. And it was just like I didn't believe her, and I didn't believe she could come up with that kind of money anyway. So Carmen used to always say, well, hey, maybe your mom's a good person. Maybe you should actually listen to your mom. So I found a decent car that I felt would work out for the entire family. Not just me, it would benefit the entire household. It would be able to transport both him and her to doctor's appointments, blah, 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 yak. So I printed it out and I put it on the refrigerator. And I said, This is a car. Now, if you want to talk to me about a car, this is the kind of money that you have to help, that we have to put into a car. And when she saw the actual cost and all the other wonderful stuff, she just started to look stupid, and she started to go back on everything she said. So I was like, Carmen, she's lying. She doesn't have that kind of money, and if she does, it's probably not her. So we just let that idea go. But the bulk of the matter is, my father has no car. A car would be a nice graduation present and all that. I get that. But it's just like, even when he was there with her, she used to ask him, she used to say, your son wants a car. He'd always say, I would think about it. And it was like, that was it. I didn't really pay too much mind into that. But it's like now, okay, we have him there. He lives down the street from her. I have no clue why you would put him so close to her, which irritates me. But that's a different story. But it's just like, okay, he's there, and all the good stuff, in my opinion, is on the west side. If you want to do anything decent, because we're probably going to take him to the beach. The beach is on the west side. Sherry's car is slowly giving in. She doesn't want to come to the realization that her car is eventually going to die. I know that I'm going to have to do what I need to do to get a car. I've been putting in job applications. I got one job call back, and if they actually bring me in, because I did the first interview over the phone, because that's how this job does it. It went pretty well. We'll take that from there. I say even in the end, if I get a job, I will still be able to go to school, do anything school related, go to work, anything like that, and still have reasonable amount of time to deal with my dad, because school for me is not all that hard. The only class that I actually have to focus on is math. So it's just like, and seeing as I technically graduated, the only thing I needed to complete was math. It's like, if I wanted, I could put school on hold for a little bit, get established, make sure that dad's like in the house normal, everything's fine, we've all got a working sort of plan and routine, and then I could go re-enroll in school or whatever in that manner of time. Or if I didn't feel like I wanted to re-enroll in school, or I just wanted to wait till whenever, I could always just opt to go get a job and do that. But it's just like, people have always told me I need to work for everything I want myself. Everything that I have, everything that I own, from the big TV to the expensive, everything that you see, everything that you will see, everything that my mom tells you about that I have. I worked for this stuff. I didn't get this stuff for free. Yes, I know I can use my school loans to get stuff like a computer and stuff like that, and I figure if I get a good enough computer, that will get me through school, get me through my entire stint through school, not just get me through one degree or a semester. I figure if this computer that I have can get me through the majority, if not all, of my degrees, why not get it? It's a good investment. It will pay for itself like at least twice over, which it's already done. So it's just like, in the end, I want to make my father's life normal. I want to do the things for my father that my father couldn't do, wouldn't do, or just didn't know how to do. I want my father to have a car. I want him to have a house. I want him to have stuff with his name on it. I want him to feel like he can just like go into the living room, kick back, and get in a big comfy chair, put his feet up, and watch TV. I want it to be that ideal image that you have of a family, or as close as I can bring to it. I figure he worked for however many years. He has a pension, whatever. He has his own money, so if he buys his own stuff, who's it hurting? If I bought the stuff for him and we all live there and it pretty much makes life easier, who is it hurting? It's not hurting anyone. Rosalind has shown you the person she is. And another question we have is anyone going to go after the $5,000 that she took? I feel like if you're going to bill her for something, bill him for that. Or you should have, the $3,000 that you intend on collecting should be for you going after my mom. If you want someone to come to court and testify, I've got plenty of people. You just need to let us know and whatever. Because I will testify that I don't have anything of his. Karma will testify that she doesn't have anything of his that my mom has sent recently, because if we had his driver's license, social security card, I wouldn't have needed the court to do anything. Anything I would have needed a police station was to make her let me take him out of the house. And then I would have just got him his own place, did everything they needed me to do for him because technically I'm his son. We have the same name. The only thing I don't have to do is write the word junior or senior down, and I'm golden for the most part. I know that's not all true and all legal, but still. It's just like I could have did what would needed to be done for him. Pay his bills, do this, do that, take care of him, make sure we got food in the fridge. Sherry cooks, I cook, whatever. And even if that wasn't enough, I could have just opted to move my brother in. Rather than really do anything but go to work and play Xbox. Only thing he does, he goes to work, plays Xbox. Mom makes it seem like he's this awful person. Yes, he does a lot of stuff that I'm like, dude, really? But he's not me, so I can't expect him to act just like me. But in the same sense, he doesn't really do much. Mom is always painting the picture like, he's a bad person, he graduated from high school, It's like when you're the parent that's causing to the child to not graduate from high school, I guess I understand it because I didn't graduate from high school. I got a GED. I got a GED because I went to Job Corps. I went to Job Corps because high school was boring. High school was boring because every time I went to high school, I went to class, I was made fun of. I was made fun of because my mom saw it fit to make us always wear dress code regardless of what school we went to. Yes, urban kids will make fun of you if you do not fit in. I don't fit in now, but nobody's like bold enough to make fun of me for the most part. Through childhood, our childhood was ruined by mom. We had 2 pair of pants, 2 shirts, 4 pairs of socks. All the other money that was in the house went to her and her boyfriends. She would buy her boyfriends pool sticks. She would buy herself expensive leather coats, fur coats, leather boots, fur boots, suits, sunglasses, expensive hats. While we would get Payless shoes, which we got made fun of. We would get clothes from Walmart or JCPenney out of a catalog, which were technically the cheapy brands, and she would spend all the rest of it on herself. So whenever she would go over to Dad's house and try to collect some sort of child support or anything for the children, if she got anything, it didn't go to us. It went to her boyfriends, her priorities. Why didn't she ever get a car? Why didn't she ever get a house? She claims she hit the lottery for $188K. I mean, if I hit the lottery for that kind of money, if I had that kind of money at my disposal, if I had any kind of money at my disposal, my thing has always been the same. I'm going to get a house, I'm going to get a car. I'll probably get the car first because the car makes it easier to get a job. Having a job makes it easier to get a house, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if you got more than one job, there you go. So it's just like, she never did anything. He did stuff, but it eventually faded away. We weren't there, he couldn't find us, and he gave up. So I was like, okay, now we all know each other. We're getting to meet family members. I got to meet a cousin from the Bahamas that I didn't even know existed. He's pretty much doing the same thing as I'm doing. He goes to school. He stays to himself. He's pretty much very, very similar to myself. And it's just like, all these people exist, and I didn't get to know about them. And now Mom's making it even more difficult because, like, people are frowning at not just her, but she's making not just her, but myself and Dad look bad because we're associated with her and all the things that she does. People always go, oh, we don't want to talk bad about your mom. And it's like, say what you need to say because I don't care what you have to say about her because I already know who she is. So this is my final just time trying to speak. It's just like, I need people to understand that I should have some sort of power within the situation. He's my father. I do care about him. I do want him to enjoy the rest of his life. I do want him to be happy around family and to live comfortably. I've never really been a vindictive person towards him. Yes, we have not always got along. Yes, he once tried to put his hands on me when I was like 20, and that didn't work out so well for him. Both my mother and my brother prevented him from getting in my way, but they were preventing me from getting to him. But that's a different story. But it's really simple. There is no hostility towards him now that we fully understand what has gone on. The reason that there was negativity not only between myself and my brother, but myself and my father, is due to the lies that were told by my mom. Some of these lies include my brother's adopted. My father pushed her out of the car when she was 9 months pregnant with me. Your father beat and abused the both of you. Your father could care less about you. Your father this, that, this, that. My mother has never painted my father to be a honorable or noble person. My Aunt Carmen, however, has changed at least the majority of the negativity that was projected onto dear old dad. It's just like he lost his way, and he didn't really know how to reach out to get in contact or find the kid, so he just one day gave up. I do hold him accountable for one thing, taking me off the insurance at 12. I want to ask, what the F was he thinking? Reason why I still look like a monster. Yes, these teeth are real. They came in when I was 10. But yeah, that's it. I would like to be able to provide for my father. My father can provide for himself financially, but he doesn't have the mentality to provide for himself properly. I feel like if we got a car, we got him a place, even if we go with Carmen's plan to move him out there, I should still be in charge of that because they all have health issues too. It prevents them from actually being able to fully be around him, and or they have other activities such as life and other family that they need to tend to. Prime example would be Carmen going to Jamaica. Now, if we all, myself, Dad, we packed him up and we got him moved out there to New York. They have property, or if something could be worked out to where it could be made easy, where they have property, it could even just like move. She's always talked about his living expenses wouldn't be a problem, so we just move him into a place. I move there with him. That way, she can interact whenever she's there, whenever she can, or whenever she wants to. They can all interact whenever they're there, whenever they want to, whenever they have other stuff to do. I'll be there if I have something else to do. She always has the option of the adult daycare, I believe she called it. That she says it's a really good adult daycare. That's like typically right down the block for them. So if we were all busy and we all had stuff to do, that would always be an option. So it would never be that he would not be looked after properly. And then the whole financial ruining that Rosalind was doing has been removed. So it's just like that. I mean, there's really no reason for him to be here. He doesn't have any family here. Rosalind's not family. She never married him. There's a reason why they never got married. There's a reason why he didn't leave her with any of the documents. That's the only thing I can say about that. I'm sorry this video was so long. I tried to keep it as nice as I could. My initial intention was to pretty much to verbally shove my foot in someone's butt. But I decided that I'm going to try to not be this vindictive person that everyone paints me out to be. I have paperwork where I did research on all this wonderful stuff, from the courts to the guardianship to the how to financially handle someone's affairs, how to take over assets and all this other wonderful stuff. I have the plan where I initially wrote about what I wanted to do for Dad, about how I would like to mentally stimulate him when I see he's in this hospital. He's just laying there, no books, no nothing. It's just like, if you don't use it, you lose it. You learn that in psychology. I just wanted him to be able to like read, watch TV, watch a movie, smoke a cigar if he wanted to, have a beer if he wanted to, blah blah blah. I just want him to have like a normal last hurrah, whatever, however you want to word it. I just wanted him that for the rest of his life, until he's fully dead, I wanted him to not have to deal with Mom and the nonsense. I wanted him to be reintroduced to his family, and for him to all be like, okay, I worked for 37 years. I'm back. I'm sorry that I disappeared on you guys, but I'm here now, and I brought my son. We can all be happy and get to know each other and go on trips, because Carmen has all these pictures in scrapbook where everybody's smiling and happy, and they're in places that don't look like they're in the United States, and I get somewhat sad, because I said to her, I wish we all could enjoy this, like Dad, just like to see him like on a beach, just being a normal person, just enjoying the weather, and not here in this, but back home where we come from, enjoying himself, stuff like that. I ideally would like to see that for him before he goes, because I feel like it's been so long since he's had the opportunity or chance to do anything like that. It would be a huge thing. I've never been there. I've never had a chance to experience any of it. I would like to experience some of it, and I would like to experience some of it with my father before he dies, because once again, mom has always stood in the way of everything. Between my father, and my brother, she's always been in the way. Where if me and my brother become close, she would do stuff to pull us apart. If me and dad would become close, she would do stuff to pull us apart. And same applied to my brother, my father. Even if he's not his biological father, if they became close, she would cause negativity that would cause them to be pulled apart. So at the end of the day, I just want to see things be positive. I want information. I want to be the one who's notified. I want the financial aspect given to myself and Carmen. I don't want it to be just like everyone's trying to look towards her because she's older and you guys think that she's the more mature, responsible one. I've taken care of not only myself, but my mother, my brother, and my father for the majority of my life. I've looked out for my brother when he got kicked out because he was 15, 16, didn't really have anywhere to go. He was sleeping in the garage and stuff like that. When mom would leave to go to work or wherever it is that she went, I would let him in the house, let him bathe, shower, eat, sleep, and just try to make sure that he got back out before she got back so there wasn't any confrontation. Pretty much I used to do the same thing when I was at dad's house. I would take care of the situation there when I lived there. I would try to keep the peace. I would try to do some things to help out. I'm not going to act like I was the best child when I was younger, because I wasn't. I would try to do what I could to help out. Mom's house. Oh, Lord. I lived with this lady for 20 plus years. I've cooked, I've cleaned, I've walked through snowstorms with groceries. I've taken her here. I've taken my last to give to her. I've lived off $100 a month, being a grown man with bills and responsibilities. I've lived off $100 a month, all so that I could stay closer to home, because I felt bad for my mom who has cancer, but it's been proven that my mom does not have any cancer or anything like cancer. My mom's always used the cancer thing as a pity party. It's pretty much the reason why I came back from Florida, why I was forced to move back from Pennsylvania, because I once had a girlfriend who lived in Pennsylvania where everything was peachy keen. I had a very pleasant outlook on life, and it looked all rainbows and sunshine for me. But then my girlfriend at the time, Liz, heard my mom on the phone talking about, I'm leaving this apartment to you. That's the place that she lives now. I'm leaving this apartment to you. You need to come get it so I can go out of town or go to Detroit or California, where the hell ever it is she was talking about going at the time. The girl heard this and believed in her. So me and the girl, we got into a verbal altercation about my mom being a huge lying douchebag. And then, yeah, she was telling me how she didn't think I should talk about my mom like that, and she actually believed in my mom, blah, 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 yak, 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 yak. Lo and behold, I come here, and has my mom ever left the apartment? No. What did my mom do? She moved to have me evicted from the apartment. She never told anyone it was not her money that's paying for the rent. She went to court, April, 20-something. The eviction court. I mean, you can easily look it up. She was in court, swore under oath to tell all the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And she said that my father and her were married and happily for however many years. That she had a right to the premises, that she was paying rent, that I was unruly, and that the reason that she wanted to kick me out is because she asked me for money. I swear to God, Daniel F. Byfield Jr., that she did not ask me for any money at all. My mom has had two ingenious plans throughout my time there. She had the ingenious plan of trying to move me upstairs and have me pay the landlord $300 a month to live upstairs. And I asked her, why would I pay to live up above you if I'm just going to have you at my back door trying to prevent me from having company and living like a normal person, i.e. what she did to my father, where she had him trapped up there. I asked myself, why would I pay $300 a month to be told that you can't have company, your music's too loud and stuff like that? It was like, is that smart? No, so I didn't do it. It's like, no. So then she finally decided to bring him over there, and it's like, okay, if he's gonna pay for his rent upstairs, why don't you just have him pay for the rent upstairs? I'll move upstairs if it's free. I'm not gonna pay. I don't feel like it's smart for me to pay for rent and school and not have my freedom, because it's like she prevented me from going to Cleveland State. Because my original plan was to live on campus, and I wouldn't be a part of any of this because I wanted to live on campus. She prevented me from going to Cleveland State by withholding my ID from me. They did not want to accept my passport because I did not want to be charged out of county or whatever rates, because they were actually really expensive, as opposed to somebody who is a resident of Cuyahoga County or whatever. So I had to get my ID, and she wouldn't allow me to do that. She has my birth certificate, my social security card, my GED, she has my prom pictures, she has so much of our stuff. All of our past, she has. Everything that has any sort of sentimental value or information or anything that's noteworthy, she has. If you want to use this as a testimony and take it to court, feel free. But this video is about an hour long. I feel like the majority of what I needed to say has been in this video. Hopefully, if you don't really have to watch, if you want to, you can just pop some headphones on and listen to it. But I'm hoping that I'm being heard. I'm not an awful person. I may look inhuman. That's my choice. My father used to have blue eyes when he didn't take his medication, at least. Or I haven't really been that close to him. I mean, like, directly in his face. I actually see it. His eyes still look somewhat blue. But I'm glad to hear that he is mentally coming together as much as he can. I'm happy to hear that he's on medication. I'm happy that he recognized me without me actually giving him too much of, hey, my name is, because Mom used to always have to tell him who I was. And it seems like what Carmen was saying is actually true. Mom was pretty much brainwashing him, because now he seems to be able to hold on at least a conversation without needing any sort of assistance. I always wanted to get him out of the house on some medication and just in general. She would leave him there by himself and not say anything. Like, she would get up and leave, and I didn't know she left. So he was upstairs and I was downstairs. So I had the option of, do I go to school today or do I stay here? If it was important something, I would ultimately opt to get up and leave. But if it was something that I really didn't care about, like, i.e., if I wanted to, like, felt like I needed a break or a day off, I would just stay there and say, okay, I'm just going to, if he comes knock on the door, I'll let him in, do whatever, blah, 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 blah. I've never been like this fully mean person. Yes, I'm sometimes mean. I mean, especially when your dad has never liked you. He tried to kill you, blah, 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 blah. When all that stuff first took hold, when she was first moving him in there and stuff, sure, I wasn't trying to help out. Why would I? In my mind, I was subsequently being subjected to dealing with the man who tried to kill me. My brain's like, yeah, if you try to hurt me for no apparent reason just because you didn't want to pay child support, is what she says. She used to always, everything's about money with her. So it's just like, at the end of the day, I don't know where the money's going. I don't know who's going to be left the beneficiary of my father's estate and stuff. I don't know what's what. I hope it's not my mom. I hope it's not a random hospital or something like that. Ideally, I would hope it's me, because I really would like to pay for school, and I really would like to make life for the family better. Because they always talk about how they have their money, they have their cars, they have their houses. Carmen showed me her house with the big-ass windows. Yes, I get jealous. Yes, I get angry, because I think to myself, why don't we have anything like that? Us in Ohio, why have we been so deprived of these things? No one can answer me this question other than the fact that nobody just actually put their money to where it should be. Everybody wants to put their money in lottery numbers, booze, and dumb stuff like fur coats and expensive dumb stuff. So yeah, that's the end of it for me. I'm sorry if I seem frustrated. I'm sorry for smoking. I tried to keep my language as adult as I could without being negative. Most people don't really care about my YouTube videos. I have quite a few YouTube videos on here that showcase the evidence that I tried to submit to the courts that was not heard. I have so much stuff that I recorded. Rosalind knows that I record everything. That's why she would subjectively, or she would forget that I was recording. She couldn't tell that I was recording. She would say specific things, but I have so much stuff on tape. I have proven so much already. I don't really know why people don't want to believe me at this point, but yeah. Again, I'm Daniel F. Byford Jr. I'm tired of being left out of the loop when it comes to my dad. I know that I don't seem like the best person to do anything. I know I have my issues with the whole I'm trying to do school and do all this other stuff, and my mom evicted me to prevent you guys from pretty much giving me control, because she wanted it to seem like, oh, he can't do anything for himself. Hello? I wasn't homeless when she evicted me. I haven't been homeless the entire time she evicted me. I've always had a roof over my head and food in my belly. So it's just like, if you really want to opt to believe her, that's on you. If you would like to come by the apartment that I share with my brother, you're more than welcome to come by and see. It's not the best at all, but it will get by. It does what it needs to do. I mean, we all have intentions of just moving up. This is just like a pretty much, we've all rebounded from the Roslyn aftermath. It's like Hurricane Roslyn came through, and now we're picking up everything, and we're trying to put everything back together. I would like to put everything back together to where the family can be involved with one another. I would like for my brother to be able to play more of a role or just be involved with family. I don't mean like play a role with my father, because it doesn't seem like that's his desire. And I can respect not wanting to deal with either of them for the most part. I respect it fully, because in theory, some of their choices really make you question their mentality. I would just like to see things go well. If we can get him moving to a decent place out here, that's fine. If we have to move him to New York, that's fine. I'm really open to handling the situation as best as possible to make sure that he's happy and it's what he wants. It's not just about me. I can get a separate apartment if that's what people feel is best. I don't have to live with him because, oh, you look odd. I mean, he didn't seem to have a problem with my eye color when he saw me. I didn't change my eye color. I did not go to the default whatchamacallits. I tend to look just like this. I mean, he pretty much knows that I am his son, and I really haven't had any really negative feelings towards him once I actually know who he truly is, and when he actually acts like a normal human being who actually cares. Like when we used to have altercations when I lived with him. When he stopped acting like this person who rules the world and started acting like a person who actually wanted to hear about the things that Mom was doing. Because I told him, Mom has a boyfriend. She's shoveling all the money that you give to her into this man. I told him that when I was like, what, 19, 20? I told him what she was doing with his money. She wasn't giving it to us. She wasn't putting it towards rent. I was hoping that he would have stopped doing it right then and there every time she used to come over and try and get money from him. I was like, dude, she's giving your money to this guy. Do I need to give you, how much more proof can I can tell you where they live. I tried so hard to get him to understand it. But then he finally understood it after I moved out. He just finally just said, screw it. I'm going to stop giving her my money. I'm going to make it my goal to not give her my money. He finally got it after I moved out. I don't know why. Maybe she would just go over there more and antagonize him. The fact that I left, and she would always play on our conscience, but not just me, but my brother too. She would say, you abandoned me. Now, as you see, she evicted me from her house, so I'm not abandoning anything. I feel like I'm doing what's right for not just myself, not just my father, but the entire family that my mom's hurt with her lies in person. Alright, I'm done. Video's an hour and 10 minutes. I'm sorry it's so long. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me now that you have my email address. You can call me. You can come visit any sort of paperwork that you would like for me to submit. If you need me to sign anything, blah, blah. Anything you have to, I'm a phone call away. I will always have a phone contact available because I've got something to work with, and I've established residence, I've established address, and I have internet, so I'll pretty much always have a phone and a way to talk to people. So once again, if you need anything from me, if you need me to sign anything, any sort of testimony, anything that I can do to help, I will do. But in the same sense, I need people to understand that I'm the one who put all this in motion. It was my $175, which I still have not been paid back. It would be nice because technically that's my half of the rent. That $175, if I would give that to the landlord, I don't have to pay my half of the rent, which means I don't have to see him yet again. That makes me happy. I like to pay my rent in advance so I don't have to deal with stuff. My mom's not mean. She will let stuff go and slack off on stuff. Yeah, I told her that she might want to slack off on the settling Dad's house because I didn't feel like she knew what to do with it, and I was hoping that I would get the power to do it for her. Because she was just going to squander it away. I mean, he paid for it and everything, but it's just like, why would you just throw it away? But yeah, that's it for me. If you have anything you would need to ask me, feel free. I'm getting irritated because my girlfriend sent me messages and I can't mute this, otherwise you will not be able to hear me. So yeah, all in all, I just want to provide the things for my father and give him a decent life. I feel like I can do just that using his money. If I have to pay for it myself and people don't feel that he should use his own money to provide him for himself, then I will go ahead and get a job, 2 jobs. Sheree will go ahead and do what she needs to do, and we will take on the full responsibility ourselves. But in the same sense, we need people to understand that we have always had his best interest at heart, and Rosalind was the one who was lying from the get-go. She even said, go get guardianship. She won't contest it. I have it on video. Which is why I don't get why guardianship went to third person, because I could have fixed all this. I mean, I have no intentions of ruining my father and taking his money. I figure he's my father. When he dies, everything's supposed to be left to me. Whatever he had was supposed to be left to me, so I could take care of it and show him that I'm a good person. And if he's up in heaven above me watching down, he would see that, hey, my son is actually a decent person. He knew what he was doing. He was about something. He did have ambition. He did have goals. It's just that his mom lied to everybody about all of us, and she caused all this. The end. Thanks again.